take a picture before you do it, like after the whole day and, the haggard look you have on your face after a day of stress, a day of doing different things. Take a picture of your face, wash your face, take another picture, and then, put the eye mask, go to bed, wear your liver pack, and then take a picture in the morning. And the difference in your face is it's awesome.
Welcome to the Energy Upgrade Podcast. I'm your host, Vanessa Grutman. And if you are a high-achieving woman, a successful entrepreneur, an inspiring entrepreneur, or just a woman with kick-ass big dreams, you're in the right place. If you value your energy, your health, if you want to be a biohacker, tap into longevity, if you want to raise the impact you have in this lifetime, you're going to have a lot of fun around here. As a second-time seven-figure business creator, certified health practitioner, and soul biohacker, I'm here to reconnect you to your energy, to the soul of your business, and to your superpowers. Let's go. Welcome home. Welcome back to the Energy Upgrade Podcast. I'm so excited to receive today Dr. Marisol, the owner of Queens of Thrones. And this is a retake for us. We already had a beautiful conversation, and now here we are back at it again. So thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Well, I love my fellow Canadians, of course.
Oh my gosh. And what a journey it's been for you in the last few months.
Yes.
That's why we're doing this retake today with a different twist. But do you want to share a little bit of how your world has been?
Yeah. So back in May, the FDA, I've been speaking about castor oil packs and castor oil the way that I know about them from clinical practice, right? But the FDA noticed it, I suppose, and what they decided is that those are medical claims, and that we couldn't say them on our packaging or on a bottle. So we really had to shift our messaging and really change what we do and be agents of change to continue to work with this beautiful product. Like, I love castor oil so much, but there's always a sunny side to challenges. And of course it was definitely challenging, impacted our business in many different ways, but there was a lot of light that came from it. So enlightenment in terms of is my team the most effective? How do I want to speak about castor oil now? And in fact, the cool thing is that now I'm speaking from a place of many of the other uses of castor oil, like beauty, but also the origins of my connecting with castor oil, where I first used castor oil. Really, I put it on my body. I remember the first time I ever did it, I was, unable to get out of bed. I was feeling so sick, and I'd actually sewn my very first castor oil pack, and I put it on my body. And what I said in every single podcast I've ever recorded, and actually when I talk to anyone about it, when I speak about that phrase, is I say, it felt like the sky opened up and angels began to sing. And ultimately, it's a gift, because now I feel liberated to be able to speak about, some of the other true benefits of castor oil packs, like grounding, spiritually aligning and connecting, which honestly, if we don't remember about the spiritual and energetic side of our body, we can do everything from a physical manner, but we've got to incorporate both. And really, what's the other tool that would work on spirituality that you can do in a physical way, or in aligning your energy patterns? And grounding your system, right? So that when you get into bed, you have a beautiful beauty sleep, right? I'm actually really excited about this new chapter. And, as a former naturopathic doctor and former beauty queen also for Canada, actually kind of cool. Yeah. I'm very, very excited, because one of my big passions of mine are speaking about the toxins in beauty care products, actually in clothing and also food. And I studied intensely in a science called homotoxicology, the study of toxins in the human system, in Germany. And so I've always been aware of this. And this has been something that in my own personal lifestyle, I've totally changed over in cosmetics and clothing and all these areas. But now I want to share that with people, because castor oil and castor oil packs are a super ally. And actually they're a great first step, especially if you're wanting to shift out of your, toxic beauty products and cosmetics and self-care products, which there's so many toxins. It's scary. Oh,
yes. Oh my gosh. You get me so excited. I love your positive outlook on this situation, which most companies would probably almost have closed their doors, because it was so intense. And you decided to be like, no, 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 there's a reason why this is happening. And I love it gave you a lot of, I guess, less is more came through, right? Like, and
100%.
that's the
Yeah.
conversation we want to have today. Less is
Yeah.
more. When
Yeah.
it comes to our cosmetic routine, when it comes to you're talking about clothing, you're like, there's just the toxins are everywhere right now. And that's the idea. It's like, okay, how can we simplify and how can we reduce our exposure to these toxins? So I really want to salute and commend this positive outlook you have on the situation. And I'm here for any spiritual and energetic conversation.
I love it.
If we can't have this connection with our body, with ourselves, it's actually going to be really hard to have true healing anyway.
100%. Yeah. No matter what supplements you take, no matter what doctors you go see, like that was the missing link for me. When I was like convalescent in my last year of naturopathic college, I couldn't get out of bed. I was dealing with mold toxicity, hormone disbalance. I had Epstein-Barr virus, chronic fatigue. It was like condition after condition after condition after condition, and then IBS as well too. And really what shifted things for me was I was taking all the right supplements. I was seeing all the right practitioners. I was doing all the right exercise. I had the food nailed down tight. But what I was missing was that the grounding, to be able to receive all that good stuff into my body. And it was the grounding and the spiritually like reconnecting and just feeling like, safer, honestly, because when you know it's not just you in this world and you're, but when you feel it and you actually can embody it and you feel connected, man, it makes a big difference in your wellness.
Perspective, right?
Yeah.
It gives you perspective. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm not just this person going down a dark hole. There's more, there's people around, there's
Yeah.
frequency, there's just so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, because ultimately we're all energy. And the thing that I realized really, really early on in clinical practice is just that here we are, we're all energy, which, shows up as matter, but honestly, we're made out of atoms, just like everything else. And, so if that's part of us, how come we're not caring for it, right? Which is, for many of us, we're not. For many of us, we're non-grounded. Even if we follow a certain spiritual practice or religious association, like we're still not grounded. There's still a lot of fear based in our bodies. And so it's that aspect. Fear will always block any potential for us to feel better, where love and connection will always open up the doors. Right. Yeah.
You talk to me about how you're using castor oil specifically to open up these doors.
That's awesome. Yeah. So with castor oil packs is probably the number one to really ground and like spiritually align. Another cool, cosmetic benefit from it is when you wear a pack at night, you get the appearance of a flatter looking belly when you wake up in the morning. And people love it for that, right? Because they're like, oh, well, this is great. But on top of that, you're getting these benefits, like again, being grounded. And I'm sure people have heard the buzzword, I'm grounding, or, there's ways you could do it. You can go outside barefoot, on the grass. That's one way to ground. I really love castor oil packs because castor oil packs is something that you're doing for a whole bunch of hours while you sleep, ideally. Now, for those who don't know what a castor oil pack is, it's basically an organic cotton cloth. Yeah, you've got one there. Perfect. Yeah. Awesome. So we've got one here. Yeah.
I'm showing, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see it. I just got my
Yeah.
order yesterday, which I thought was perfect timing.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So that's our fully organic pack, which is really, really good to use in the sauna, or if you're working with red light therapy on it. And you can always use that as an insert also in a regular pack that has the outside barrier protective area. So it's an old practice that's been done since the beginning of time. Honestly, Hippocrates, as mentioned, talking about them. Pliny the Elder, he was one of the doctors to the Roman empresses. And all these doctors were using them with their patients to soothe them and help them feel well, right? So, and that's powerful, is that, if you can feel soothed and good, well, you have hope. I remember for myself when I was not feeling well, I didn't have hope, right? I was like, oh my gosh, I'm taking all of these things and worse. I'm studying to be a naturopathic doctor. And what am I going to do? How am I going to help my patients? Like I felt Oh, I felt bad. And, but this pack, it just changed my life in such a formidable way. And then I just knew it was my mission to go out and just speak to everyone about it. And the pack is simple. You put it on your liver, so underneath your right side on your rib cage, and you apply oil either directly onto the pack, or you can use I love our beautiful little roller and roll the oil. It's almost like for your pack, for the organic pack, you want to prefer to use a roller because you want to use the exact right amount of oil for the pack, and then that way it lasts longer. But it's super, super simple. It's less than 2 minutes routine that you do at night before bed, and you wear it to sleep. And ideally, you at least wear it for an hour, but it's even better if you wear it overnight. And it's that. I like to say FaceTime with the castor oil and castor oil pack while you sleep, and your sleep is so, so important because you want to be grounded while you sleep, because while you sleep is when your body is really undertaking some pretty big metabolic activities in terms of like liver detoxification, cleansing. It's doing a lot of things during your sleep. So when you're grounded with the pack, if the pack is helping you to ground, I mean, the likelihood is that, now I'm not claiming, but the likelihood is that there's support in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. So
Yeah.
let's talk to me about let's go into the cosmetic side. And I know you're a
Yeah.
huge fan of using castor oil on the skin. And I know that after you told me about that, I love it. And I'm obsessed by the rose quartz
I know.
that you have
So good.
launched. Because it's so convenient. I travel with it. It's so convenient. And I feel like you could literally just do that. And I love doing
Oh,
it around my eyes, especially to help my lashes. But talk to me about some of your, tricks and some of the things that we should know about. And the women that are listening,
awesome.
they're all in. So what can we
I
do?
love it. I love it. So how I got on this journey was really because, again, as a naturopathic doctor, my focus was environmental medicine and homotoxicology. So it was all about toxins. So, they're like, my language is toxins, and I understand it very, very deeply. And what I realized is, I first started, of course, with food. I think everyone starts with food because food, you can read the label and you're used to reading the label. And then I did cosmetics. And cosmetics is an ongoing journey because it's really challenging to find like really clean products. So I'm ongoing working on that, but I've made my good swaps, which is what I'll teach everyone about today. But then afterwards, my clothing. So my clothing I did in the last 2 years, which I got rid of all the plastics and I just went down to like natural, because there's microplastics that break off when you're wearing plastic clothing, which is the majority of our clothing, polyester, all this stuff, and that absorbs into our body. So these are the areas where we can really empower ourselves and get rid of excess toxins that we don't need. Because here's the thing, the world is full of toxins, and just because we can't see them doesn't mean we can't believe in them. Like, we got to believe in them. Like, they're there, but they're in our air. They're everywhere, and so we can be empowered to take action in the areas. I think for women, the biggest areas is food, and then we can look at cosmetics, beauty, care, self care, and then their fashion, because it's things we do every day. And fashion also includes like the sheets that you go to bed with and all that stuff, right? Because again, it's FaceTime to these toxic products, and you don't want lots of FaceTime. You want to stay away from the FaceTime, right? You want to have like, less is more. The other thing I think is important too is, before I speak about this, just to preface it, don't get scared or don't get worried, but just start taking small baby steps. And one of the tips I'll give at the end of the podcast really is a tip that everyone can do, and they can start today, and just simple, and it just opens up the awareness in terms of these areas. So that would be probably so don't stress. This is all about baby steps. I didn't do this overnight, and even with my training, I did it over like, decades, and still working on it. So it's just a process that you want to go through, and it's the education about the toxins and understanding their impact on our system, and then realizing, okay, there's things that we can do that are alternative to that. And actually, the cool thing with castor oil is it completely like simplifies things, which is awesome, right? Like it is super, super awesome. And okay, now cosmetics. Why did I big time get into that? The big thing for me was when I heard about, the EU unapproved 1,300 ingredients in their cosmetic and makeups, and the USA only 8. So And, there's this belief out there that, oh, well, someone's testing our products before we try them. And that isn't true. No one is testing your products.
Yeah.
Any of the tests that do exist, they're faulty. And they're faulty for this reason, because number one, they are going based on a single ingredient and they're not considering the ingredient in combination. Like, a heavy metal isn't likely to transfer through the epidermal area, but a heavy metal in combination with oils and glycerin, which is common in beauty formulations for eyes, everything, it is absolutely going to absorb, right? How much of it? Well, we're not sure because they haven't tested each individual product. So there's that issue. And the other issue is that, women, we're starting to wear our makeup. Like I started when I was like 6 because I was in dance class and we were wearing like theatrical makeup, and then shortly thereafter I started wearing makeup. So I've been wearing makeup for how many years? And, and the studies are done over short periods of time for these ingredients, like 3 months, 6 months is typical studies, not over the decade or the 3 decades of using cosmetic over your lifetime and the impacts that has hormonally and on all aspects of your body. It's a huge problem. And it's just not spoken about enough. And I really want to just get that message out because we've got to do something, and it starts simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are some of the changes that you have done? Of course, you can stop wearing makeup, and then you can look for cleaner versions. I always recommend the ewg.org website. It has an amazing skin database.
Yeah.
In terms of skincare, what you're saying is basically you could just go around and put on some castor oil.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. So I'm a firm believer of 2 principles. The dose is the poison, right? So and then pick your poison. So there might be some things that you still are going to be using because you just love it. And I don't know, it's that rouge that you can't live without, whatever the case may be, or, what have you, your little treat that you go to something like Dairy Queen or McDonald's and you have a little snack and you're still going to do that. That's okay. Like you just want to pick your poison. As long as in your overall lifestyle, you're reducing the amount of total load, which is the amount that's coming in, right? So that's super important. So with castor oil, my first mission was really to start to do swaps. What could I swap out? Knowing my nightly routine is probably the most important because my nighttime routine was where I was doing everything, the majority of things for my face, what I could swap out. So, in between cleansers and toners and eye makeup remover, nighttime moisturizer, eye serum, eyebrow and lash serum, I was able to remove like 6 ingredients, like 6 products out of my lifestyle just by swapping over to castor oil. Mm-hmm. Cool, right?
Yeah.
And so that's taking out ingredients that I don't need. And I also find castor oil just works better because it's highly nourishing. It's deeply hydrating, richly nourishing. It is a master carrier oil. So, it digs deep and really helps to revive and is especially excellent for aging, maturing skin for women who are, transitioning from like perimenopause or even shifting, like moving towards perimenopause, 35 and above. It's a great time to switch over. Ideally, we had all our daughters doing this too, because then we'd have superpower. It'd be really boycotting the companies that are using, chemicals within those products. So here's what I do. Really easy. So to wash my face, I simply take a steamed cloth and it's warm and it's just to open up the pores. And then from there, as you said, less is more. Less is more with castor oil. It is a very affordable substitute. It's budget friendly and awesome because you literally use to wash your face. I use about a dime to a quarter size amount of castor oil. And then I mix it through my hands. I might add a little bit of water. You'll see when you mix it in your hands, it actually kind of comes out a little bit like a soapy consistency. And then I start rubbing that all over my face, especially focusing on where I use makeup, which is my eye makeup, my cheeks, right? I really don't use very much. I'm eye and cheeks. And so I focus on that to remove it. And then with a clean towel, the same clean towel that I first steamed my face with, I'll re-steam it. And then I'll basically take and wipe off as much castor oil as I can. Not all of the castor oil comes off, but what does stay honestly makes your skin feel like so soft. And that is replacing, that one routine is replacing eye makeup remover, makeup remover pads or cleansing towelettes. It's removing your nighttime moisturizer, it's removing a cleanser, and it's removing a toner. So that's 5 things. And of course, you've also put it on your eyebrows and eyelashes. So there's going to be a little bit of benefit there because we know that castor oil helps to improve the look of lashes and the look of brows too. Thicker, fuller looking brows and lashes is kind of the goal for people. I then follow it up with an eye mask, and I thought I had it here, but I don't know where it went. But anyhow, what I do is I then take either the roll-on, or we have coming soon some really cool like cosmetic roll-ons, and I'll actually roll the castor oil around my eye, on my eyebrows, eyelashes, with my eyes closed. And then I wear almost like a castor oil pack for my eyes, which is just a little eye mask that we use, which is the same material as the organic castor oil liver pack, but it's just for the eyes. And that is meant to contain the castor oil in the area because you are putting a lot more focused around the eyes because it's going to replace your night serum, your nighttime eye serum, and it'll be a swap for your eyebrow and lash serum as well too. And I love it, and the fact of even just wearing a mask, the thing people have to be careful of is don't use any old mask because most masks that people get are made of plastic materials. And this is what we want to be careful. So this is where Queen of the Thrones masks come into play, is that they're organic on the inside and an outside shell that is like a barrier so things don't get too messy with castor oil, because we know that castor oil can be messy. And so it's beautiful. And honestly, like I do that, and then I put on my castor oil liver pack, and then I go to bed. So that's my nighttime routine now. And I mean, I've saved money because look at how many products I haven't needed to buy. And also I learned, things like toners, like not everybody needs toners. Toners are so drying for the skin. It's like alcohol. If you're having problems with like problematic skin, you don't like, and you think that you're producing too much sebum, your body is always looking to balance, right? It's always looking for homeostasis. And if it's producing excessive amounts of sebum or oils, it's because likely you're not actually able to produce them very well. So it's starting to overproduce them. So sometimes adding oil when there's excess oil actually helps to balance and regulate. Right.
So is there anybody that the castor oil, let's say at night on their face, wouldn't be a good idea for?
No, I mean, I think you got to try it. If there's always a possibility if somebody could have an allergic reaction or sensitivity to castor oil, that's with anything. So again, just try it. But I've found people absolutely love it once they start doing it. And if you want to test it out on yourself, like really take a picture before you do it, like after the whole day, and the haggard look you have on your face after a day of stress, a day of doing different things. Take a picture of your face, wash your face, take another picture, and then put the eye mask, go to bed, wear your liver pack, and then take a picture in the morning. And the difference in your face is it's awesome. It's just awesome. I'm so in love.
Femme Biohacker is the movement that gets you to move, to finally go all in on your dream of financial freedom and life fulfillment. It's the place that will get you to harness your energy and start seeing it as your main asset. I created this movement when realizing that success in the online world was an energy game and not so much of a strategic one like we'd been led to believe. I started noticing how when I mastered my energy on a physical, emotional, spiritual, and energetic level, I literally became unstoppable. Femme Biohacker is the program that helps you reconnect with your life force. And from that place, women are remembering their soul's mission, creating business masterpieces from their hearts, communicating and marketing their messages with ease, and ultimately feel in alignment in their life while doing it. From this unapologetic stance, energy flows. And you guessed it, money too. So, will you make a move and join us?
I was telling you before we started recording that I noticed that my husband was stealing my roller. And I noticed because at night at one time I was like, what is this goop you have on around your eyes? And he's like, oh, I've been using your castor oil. I love it. So I just thought it was so funny. I'm like, oh my goodness, it is really
Smart man. He knows that castor oil helps to reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles and even dark circles under the eyes. So, lots of options here. I think it's great. Like Like, and that's just one part of our daily routine, right? That's
Exactly.
so cool. I love your
I'm
husband.
curious to hear because you've mentioned red light. So I'm curious to hear
Yeah,
like how you would use red light with castor oil and yeah, like what do you do with that?
perfect. I love it. So red light is a really, really good balancer to castor oil because red light has all these benefits of like collagen producing. It does so much stuff. So in that nighttime face routine that I explained, the only difference of what I would do is after I wash my face, before putting on the eye serum, I would probably add a little bit more castor oil and then use my wand on my face to lift things up. Red light again, collagen benefit. There's benefit to the red blood cells. It improves circulation. It just has so many benefits. Improves mitochondria health of all the cells. So this is something that our face can absolutely use at any point in time, especially because one of the number of reasons why women age is because they're so stressed in their shoulders and they block the circulation and lymphatic flow. So doing that red light, castor oil basically serves as a lubricant in that case, and just helping the red light to work better. So you can either do that with the wand, or if you have like a mask, a lot of people have those red light masks. Again, just apply a little bit more of castor oil and then wear the red light mask. Either way, for that red light mask, you really want to do with a clean face. You don't necessarily want to do it with a face that has makeup or all of the stuff left over from the day. And when you wash with castor oil, it's also very cleansing for the skin. So that's why it's a really good cleanser.
Cool. Because yeah,
Yeah.
I have been doing it. I've been doing like my red light mask before and putting the castor oil after, but I
Yeah.
actually was wondering like, should I do it before? So I should do
Do
it
it before. Do it before. Yeah, do the routine. Do the face wash, the red light, and then you can go back and then do the serum on the eyes, and then the serum for the eyelashes and brows, and then the mask, right? And then the
yeah.
castor oil pack. The other thing too, just to mention, is that some people don't love red light, or maybe it's not affordable for them, but they might go towards things like cupping or gua sha. I'm great with those too, and I think you would do those at the same time that as I said with the red light, you would do it like right after you wash your face. If you need to add a little bit more oil, just so that there's slide factor, and then you can do the gua sha, which will really help the body, or even your fingers. Like I'm known to do this, like just to keep things simple sometimes, right?
Yeah. Beautiful. Great.
Yeah.
And then we can use castor oil also in the sauna.
Yeah. So the pack that you have is actually like a do-it-yourself. It's a flannel plus a strap, and it's completely organic. So you can use the castor oil pack in the sauna. And again, it's just soothing sensation because castor oil support a flatter looking belly in the morning. Sauna is all about like, clearing, moving things. It's a good thing to like just, get grounded while you're in that space.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. And now I'm wondering if you could talk to us about, because I remember last time we had a conversation about the importance of looking for a
Oh
castor
yeah.
oil that's in a glass container,
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
dark container. Because this is one thing I'm noticing, even sometimes at the grocery store, at the natural store, it's trendy right now. So
Oh
there's like
yeah.
lots of different brands, lots of different products. But I'm noticing a lot of plastic bottles, clear bottles. So do you want to talk to us about that?
Yeah. Quality is a concern when it comes to castor oil. And in fact, great thing. Thank you for bringing up the issue about packaging, because that's an issue as well too with all cosmetics and beauty care products, right? Many of them contain oils. Toxins love oils. Toxins travel in oils. They love the majority of toxins love to get into oils. So if there's any oil or glycerin type ingredient in any of the formula or makeup, I mean, you're going to have leaching of a plastic packaging. So plastic, number one, should never ever touch anything that's going to be touching your makeup or beauty, or for sure your oils, dietary as well too, right? Because it's the same principle. Like I'm always shocked, like just you shouldn't eat canola oil anyways, but like all the different like oils that are made out of plastic at the grocery store. And I'm like, well, like I'll only buy oil in glass for that reason.
Yep.
So it's such a key. With Queen of the Thrones, again, I'm a naturopathic doctor, so standard of excellence is very important to me, and of course, because I have this background in environmental medicine and homotoxicology, I'm keen and aware of ingredients that should not be there, right? And so we test our our products. We third party test every year. We do a batch, like a random batch testing to make sure that everything is clean and everything is good. Whenever we switch suppliers, we third party test. So we always are extra testing just to make sure that the quality of our castor oil is the best that it can be. We bottle it in glass, and we aim to never let our castor oil sit in plastic. If you have a brand that is using selling both castor oil in glass, castor oil in plastic, I would be cautious because, what is happening in their supply chain? It's a lot cheaper to bring from India or China or Brazil drums of plastic. It's like, I don't know, 5 times less expensive. I would be concerned about the oil traveling in that way, right? And then it being less of a pure product. So, buyer beware with everything. It's important to just think about what's happening, not just when you start to use the product, but what could have happened in the shipment. So we take everything and we move it in steel drums. So it is steel. The only time it comes in contact with any plastics is when we're bottling it, when it goes through the tubes. But that's really, again, there's very little face time, as I said earlier. So they won't have enough time to really sit and absorb. But it's when things are sitting for a long period of time, or like sitting on your face all day long, right? Or your clothing that you're wearing all day long, or the sheets that you're literally sleeping in all night long, right? That's when the concern is. It's not when there's like a momentary time that it switches out. I'm also looking for extra virgin because, like your olive oil, I think olive oil is the king of all oils, and castor oil is the queen because she's good for beauty and good for all the things women love and need. The extra virgin is important because it just is higher in nutrient content and value, and there's a lot of great antioxidants for the skin in castor oil, like vitamin E, quercetin. There's also ECEG, which is from green tea. Those are all things that I use and mix with sometimes with castor oil, like matcha green tea. I'll mix for like a scrub with Himalayan salt for my face, right? So there's so many different options, and I can link everyone here to a guide that I have, which gives them their different recipes that I switch out in my routine, so that they can have it. But extra virgin, glass bottle, ideally dark because it's an oil, so the darkness preserves it from the light, right? Which is very, very important. You want to make sure it is either cold pressed or expeller pressed, and that it is hexane free. Some people think that expeller pressed isn't good, but from testing different batches and different things of castor oil, I've noticed that expeller pressed might have gotten a bad rap because they say it's exposed to heat. Cold pressed also is exposed to heat mechanically in the processing. So now expeller press is a little bit more of a higher heat, but castor oil is resilient up to 230 degrees Fahrenheit. And, expeller pressing typically is 180 degrees Fahrenheit, maximum 210. So it's still, as long as it is testing well, the expeller pressed, and there's a period of time that we've been bringing in expeller press because it's been testing actually better than the cold pressed on the marketplace, and here's the thing with Queen of the Thrones, all we do is castor oil. It's our one prerogative. It's our one product. So we're experts at it. And we move through a lot of product as well too. So we're testing a lot of batches and making sure that it is good, what's coming in and where we're getting the supply from, because, everything, like we got to watch for things like contaminants and heavy metals and molds, and making sure that it has the right amount of ricinoleic acid, which is like kind of the active component to a lot of castor oil, which is what makes it unique and thick and so hydrating and so nourishing. So we really want to look out for those things, that those are, and pure, of course. You just want single ingredient. Yeah. And on the journey of changing over your clean beauty, that's kind of what you're kind of becoming a minimalist in clean beauty, a minimalist in all things, a minimalist in food, a minimalist in beauty, a minimalist in fashion. And you're going for more like single ingredients, right? Rather than complex formulas that, half of the ingredients you can't even pronounce. Fragrance is in almost all the formulas, and fragrance is phthalates, and phthalates is bad news, baby. It's like xenoestrogens that disrupt hormones. And, the crazy thing with fragrance is because, companies don't need to disclose what their fragrance are made of because of some, outdated regulation that was made, because many fragrances back in the day for perfumes and cosmetics were trademarked, right? So it's kind of like the secret sauce. you know,
Yes.
that they didn't want to give their secret sauce, so that's why there's no need to disclose. But that I don't think is good. That needs to be changed because, if someone does want fragrance, again, we got those natural, beautiful essential oils. Why not use those? Nature
Totally.
provided everything for us.
I agree. And when we see the word fragrance, it could be up to 30 ingredients
Oh,
that are in there. So that's not okay. But I have a feeling that it's going to change. There's some big changes happening, and I think it's all going to lead in the right direction.
agreed.
And I do appreciate that, yes, your castor oil is organic, like it's ticking all the boxes. Of course, you're the expert of that, but also your packs, because so if you're listening, you might be tempted to just find like a cheap version
On
and try
Amazon,
to
yeah.
find like on Amazon,
Yeah.
there's tons that are coming from China, and
Oh yeah.
most of them are full of toxins because they're not organic cotton. And so I
Yeah.
do appreciate that you go over and above to create those products, right?
I bought all the competitors, and honestly, the majority of them just smell like plastic when you open it up.
I
And
agree.
I'm super sensitive because I got exposure to a lot of chemicals when I was younger, and and mold, which will make you sensitive to smells and different chemicals. And like I can't even get close to those, so that's scary. And they're made with like. Here's the thing, plastic is cheaper than cotton or wool or the good quality materials, right? Honestly, Queen of the Thrones has been the most amazing experience because it's shown me a world of clean beauty. It's opened up my eyes about fashion to an extent. Like I knew, but I didn't totally know, and now I know because right, we're making material packs, and so I've been working with fabric for quite some time now. And fabrics are sprayed. Majority of us are wearing like probably 60 to 80% of our wardrobe is plastic, polyesters, elastane. They have all these trademark names like Tencel and Modal, which makes it sound like it's maybe more natural, but it isn't. It's
No.
it's plastic bound, and also too many cottons have fibers of those mixed with them, right? So you'll have a cotton blend with like polyester fibers, and that's what a lot of these compresses are. Or if not, they'll work with bamboo, and bamboo is actually one of the most toxic, crazy materials because you would think it's healthy because it's eco-friendly. But let me say here, eco-friendly doesn't necessarily mean health friendly. Okay. Eco-friendly means,
Greenwashing.
yeah, it's greenwashing. Eco-friendly typically means like they're using less water, there's less impact on the environment, right? But so it's sustainable, right? So, the production of it, like bamboo obviously grows pretty rapidly. But what makes bamboo a danger is that bamboo is as strong as steel in construction. Imagine that, the fibers. So, in order to break down the fibers to make it softer than cotton, which is kind of the claim that, bamboo gives, they have to like put it into a vat of caustic chemicals, like pretty nasty. Like if you remember the movie The First Batman when the Joker fell into like a vat of green something or other. That's what I imagine. And it's like, oh God. Like, and then of course it's like eco-friendly. So they wash it, but they don't like overly wash it because they're watching water usage. And some of that, even if they do wash it, no matter how good they wash it, is going to stay on the material, right? Like it's just going to stay. And typically, they again blend bamboo. It's typically bamboo rayon blend. And so those are the things. And again, if you're having FaceTime with castor oil and castor oil packs, you don't want that plastic.
No. And, I kept thinking about bamboo sheets because that's the big thing too. And same thing,
Yeah.
sleeping in that, no
I
bueno.
know. There's so much greenwashing out there. I hope all your listeners come and follow me at Be Well Queen on YouTube, on Instagram, TikTok. I'm everywhere with that handle. That's my personal handle where I educate about toxins in beauty and fashion and food. And there's so much greenwashing honestly out there, which greenwashing for people they don't understand the term basically means that they'll put natural, organic,
Green.
it's so green. They'll put labeling that looks green, or a raw looking like brown lunch bag type box, and then it makes you think that it is all natural and organic. Or even people using the term clean beauty is dangerous because a lot of clean beauty is not clean. It
No.
is not. Like it is maybe has lesser ingredients, but it's not totally clean. So, you really got to be careful. You've got to read the label, which is my tip of the day. Read labels. Yeah, taking it home. This is the tip that I wanted to give you all is the very first step of this is start reading the labels in your cosmetics, your beauty care products, and your clothing and food, right? You probably are already looking at the label for food for like macros and micros. I'm looking at that for like any added ingredients that they may put into it, like goo or gum or anything that I'm like, I don't need extra stuff put into it. Like my son, for some reason, my son won't listen to me, but anyways, he likes to do everything different from the family. Gotta give him his time, but he bought these liquid eggs. I'm like, why did you get liquid eggs? And he goes, they're just so much easier than eggs. I'm like, eggs are not hard. Like,
I know.
crack the egg and put it in the pan. And then he, of course, didn't read the label, although I've been educating him on that. I read the label to him, and it was so many ingredients. Number one, it was like goo or gum. There was all these vitamin formats that were, the cheap form and unabsorbable and just add to total load. Yeah. And I said to him, but so anyways, he's stubborn. I gotta keep on working on him. But the point is, read the label before you buy. And always, and again, if I can use that as an analogy, like egg versus liquid egg that has like 20 ingredients in it. The egg is perfect multivitamin on its own. The yolk has everything that we need. It feeds a little chickadee, right? Like it is absolutely perfect. So less is more. Single ingredient products are ideal. And then just read the label on everything and just start to get to know and understand. Like when it comes to clothing, like that was just so eye-opening for me. And for food, but then beauty, you need a magnifying glass because it's so small sometimes. Like it's wild and it's very hidden. But honestly, just start reading the labels. And if you can, just start with those simple swaps up in the nighttime routine. It's really, really easy. It's budget friendly. You'll be super happy to get rid of those, 6 to 7 different products that you were using. And I think you'll look better as well from it.
Yeah. And it's interesting, how you're saying the pack, you guys are using 100% organic cotton, and the fabric also has a frequency. And if we're wanting to use the castor oil to ground ourselves, well,
right.
Might as well, we need to do it with a higher frequency fabric. Otherwise,
right.
We're going to get the benefits, especially if we're hoping to create some heat with the pack, right? That's
right.
Kind of tension. So
yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. The thing is that many of those products are just, they just found out that we were doing well on Amazon. And so they just go make them in the cheapest way possible. And so, try to undercut us. We manufacture in Canada, so it's a little bit more expensive, right? But we have a lot of value. And with me, I'm always working on trying to get price adjustments and do things better. And if I can make it a little bit less expensive for the consumer, I do. Or if I can make it more reusable, I do. Like that's my goal, right? I'm here to change people's lives and help them just open up their eyes to what they are being exposed to and just start taking those little baby steps in the things that we're doing every single day. Because we do have the power to change stuff, but we just have to start looking and be aware. I got excited there.
And I do think your price is super reasonable.
Yeah.
Given the quality and
that's right. The fit.
It defeats the purpose to use castor oil if the quality is not there. So that's also right. Something you can take home if you're listening. And the fit, like I had an influencer, an affiliate of ours who, during the FDA, again, we had to close down our affiliate program. We weren't able to promote like castor oil packs. So she had a lot of interest in it. So she, went to a different company, and then she came back to me and she's like, I don't like the pack. It doesn't fit well the way yours does. And, you should see how many designs I've made. And I've been working on this since I graduated from naturopathic college. So back in 2010, it's my second company with castor oil and castor oil packs. So I know, and, I use them on patients for over a decade. And I heard what felt good and what didn't feel good. And, I do them daily too. So it's like, I know what feels good and what doesn't feel good. Like maybe about a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, our straps were a little harder. Like they weren't made of nylon. They were made of like cotton, but they were really rough for people and it was uncomfortable. So we switched them over to nylon, and that could be like an example, there's no oil on it. So that's okay. Like that's an example of like, I would have preferred to have done organic cotton straps, but it was irritating people. Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
you always have to do the cost benefit analysis and
Exactly. Pick your poison, I call it, right? Like some things are okay. Like you're again, if you are working at reducing your overall load of what you're exposed to every day, daily, that makes a massive shift in your wellness and health and especially in hormones.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
I just want to finish by saying like the fit indeed is amazing. And even my kids, whenever my daughter, sometimes I'll have them do, parasite
So kids
cleansing
pack.
or things like that.
Yeah.
And I have them wear it to support that. So it's
I
amazing.
love it.
They
Oh yeah, the
leave it
kids
on.
pack. I find the kids pack is so great because what kids need kids just have this excess amount of energy, right? And it's like and I have a new puppy, so I'm remembering this like from kids is that there's just so much energy, right? And it's like they need grounding. You need got to ground the kids and the excess energy contributes to anxiety and stress and them not feeling good and worry and preoccupation about what's going on at school. And so, at night if you get them into a routine of grounding before they go to bed, what a wonderful way to teach your child, that it's about the balance between like, being crazy and going like full fledged and then just kind of sitting there quiet and grounding and feeling good in your body, right?
Totally. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. We could go on forever. I want to honor
Ever.
your time. I'm so grateful for your passion, your dedication to this. And like you said, you've been doing this for a long time. You are the pro, you are the queen of it. And
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for your work and the impact you're having on the world. So thank you. And for sticking through what most people would probably have just decided to shut down.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was challenging. It's so funny. There were some things that helped us in that whole process, right? Like things that weren't good at the beginning, and then we're like, oh my, this is really good now. So I guess this is the thing. Like in anything in life, we just have to keep taking steps forward for the better. Right. And thank you for having me, Vanessa. I love your people. I love what you teach. I think it's great work that you're doing as well, too.
And can you remind us quickly, where can people find you
Yes.
and Queen of the Thrones as well?
Awesome. So you can find me at Be Well Queen. So that's Be Well. I believe every queen should be well.
Yeah.
So that's where you can find me. On YouTube is where I speak and do a lot of long form video and really get into the nitty gritty about toxins and what to do about it. On Instagram, of course, I'm teaching in the quick, less than
60
30
seconds.
seconds I have. Yeah, there. But we're available in all the social media platforms. And then Queen of the Thrones is as well too, which is my company, Queen of the Thrones. And you can find us at queenofthethrones.com. And I know that you'll provide them with a link in the show notes. And I'll also get everyone a link to my castor oil swaps. So then
Yes,
that way, we can have something a little bit different.
absolutely. I think that's going to be
Awesome.
very, very useful. So thank you. Thank you for your time, and we will see you soon. Bye.
Awesome, Vanessa. Bye.
The information shared on this podcast is for information purposes only and doesn't provide any medical advice. Vanessa Grotman does not cure, diagnose, or treat disease. Please consult your physician before trying any new protocol or product.